Okay, let's go over the review for the final exam. So number 1 and 2, they are asking us to solve each equation for y, which means they are just asking us to put it into slope-intercept form, where the y is by itself. And then it's asking us to find the rate of change. Well, we know that the rate of change is just another way to ask for the slope, and the y-intercept and the 0. And we know that the 0 is just merely the x-intercept. So let's look at number 1. It is written in standard form. So when it's in standard form, you guys, we can find the x-intercept and the y-intercept easily. You guys remember how to do this? So if I want the x-intercept, I merely replace my y with 0. So I will have 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 12. And negative 3 times 0 is 0, so basically it's gone, and I'm left with 2x equals 12. And then I will divide by 2 on both sides of my equal sign, and then I will have my x-intercept, which 12 divided by 2 would be 6. So my 0 is going to be 6, and I can write 6 comma 0 if you'd like to indicate it as a coordinate point. I could do my y the same way, but if they're asking us to write it in slope-intercept form, we can just do that. So let me get another color. All right, so if I have the original equation, which is 2x minus 3y equals 12, and I want it to look like this in slope-intercept form, so I need to move my 2x over to the other side of my equal sign by subtracting. So this is gone. It leaves a negative 3y equals negative 2x and a positive 12. And then I will divide everything by negative 3 so that my y will be by itself. So negative 3 divided by negative 3, this is gone, and now my y is by itself. A negative 2 divided by a negative 3 will just be a positive 2 over 3x. And then 12 divided by negative 3 will become a negative 4. So now looking at what we have, my rate of change, which is my slope, is right here. So that will be 2 over 3. And my y-intercept would be this number down here, so it's a negative 4. Okay, let's do the next one. Same thing. It's already in standard form, so let's go ahead and find the x-intercept by replacing my y with 0. So I am left with 4x equals 20, and then I will divide by 4 on both sides. Oops, sorry. And then I have x equals 20 divided by 4 would be 5. So my 0, which is my x-intercept, is 5, or 5 comma 0 if you're going to write it as a coordinate point. The y-intercept and my rate of change, again, I'm going to rearrange and put my y by itself. So I will need to subtract my 4x from both sides of my equal sign. That leaves me a negative 5y equals a negative 4x and a positive 20. Again, divide everything by negative 5 so that my y will be by itself. So a negative 4 divided by negative 5 is a positive 4 over 5x. 20 divided by negative 5 will become a negative 4. So my rate of change is the 4 over 5. And my y-intercept would be a negative 4 again. Negative 3, number 3 just says given I equals PRT, solve for t. So basically they've given us a formula. This is interest equals principal times rate times time. So we know that all these variables mashed together like that, they all do mean that we want to multiply. So I'm going to rewrite the letter. They're asking us to solve for t. So we want the t to stay. That means the p and the r need to go away. So like I said, this is multiplication. The opposite of multiplying is to divide. So if I just divide by the p and the r on both sides, it will cancel over here on the right-hand side. And that means I am left with I over PR, and that is going to equal my T, which is what we were solving for. So here would be my answer for number 3. Okay, number 4 says the graph below shows the number of purchasing X shirts at a local screen printing company. It said based on the data, which order pair would be an additional point on the graph. So if this is the number of shirts we're purchasing, and I'm assuming this is maybe the cost of the shirts, so I'm going to make us a little data table and see where we are going with this. So this first point is 7 for the X and 10 for the Y. The next point would be 8 for the X and 11 for the Y. My next point is 9 for the X and 12 for the Y. So it looks like as I'm increasing by 1 on this side, let me write that. We're increasing by 1 over here. We're also increasing by 1 over here. So if I look at what I have, if I increase by 1, if I keep going, I will have 10, 11, 12 on this side. And on this side, I start with 12, so I'm going to go to 13, 14, and 15. So let's look at our points that we have. Do I have either 10, 13, 11, 14, or 12, 15? And I can see that I have 12, 15. And another way I could have checked that is this. If you will notice from 7 to 10, this was a difference of 3, right? So from 8 to 11, also a difference of 3. From 9 to 12, also a difference of 3. From here, 2 to 4, that was only a difference of 2. 4 to 5, that was only a difference of 1. 6 to 10, that was a difference of 4. This is the only one that actually had a difference of 3 from the X value to the Y value. So C would be my correct answer on number 4. Number 5 said Miss Thomas surveyed kids in her classes about how many hours they spend studying a week. The graph below shows the relationship between their answers and their grade in the class. What conclusion can Miss Thomas draw from the graph? And it says a student who studies for 7 hours will make a 100. Well, if I look at that, let me get a highlighter. If I look at that and I go from number 7 up here to my points, 100 would be right here. So that means anyone that studies 7 hours should make a 100. But you can see right here, those points are not a 100. So A would not be it. And let's see, the next one, B, says the more a student studies, the lower their grade. So if that were true, that means we would have a negative correlation or a negative slope. So that means as this is increasing, this is going down. So I would have a lot of points going this way, and that's not what I have. So I do not believe that B is going to be the correct answer. C says the more a student studies, the higher their grade. So that'd be a positive correlation. As this is increasing, this also increases. So that means we should be going up in this direction, which that looks like it probably is it. And then it says there is no relationship between studying and grades, which we can see there definitely is a relationship. It is a positive one. So C would be the correct answer. Okay, another scatter plot. Number 6 says the graph below shows the relationship between the quality rating of certain clothing lines and their price per item for those lines. And this is what relationship can you draw from the graph. And A says the better the quality, the higher the price. So again, here's my quality down here. So as this is increasing, this would be increasing, and it kind of looks like that's what's happening. So maybe that's it. Let's keep going. It says there is no relationship between the quality and the price. And I don't believe that would be it. Otherwise, we'd have points down here. We'd have points up here. C says the lower the quality, the higher the price. So that would be a negative correlation. So if this were to be it, we would have something that looks like this, and that's not what we have. And then it says clothes with a quality rating of 50 will cost $20. So again, if I go to 50 and I go straight up, I should only have points that are on $20. And you can see right here I had this point, and it looks like that would be around $15. This point is up here. That's a little more than $20. So that would not be a fact. So it looks like A is going to be the correct answer for number 6. Okay, number 7 and 8, it says determine whether each situation illustrates association or causation. Explain your reasoning, including other factors that might be involved. So number 7 says, a survey showed that sleeping with a light on was positively associated to nearsightedness. So remember, causation association. We'll start with causation. I think that's a little easier to see. Causation means exactly what it says, that it causes something. So this would mean that sleeping with the light on would definitely cause you to be nearsightedness. And I don't believe that's what that is showing. It is just saying that they've done a survey, first of all. It's just a survey. And they've noticed that there might be this positive correlation. But it doesn't say that it definitely is happening. It's not a causation. So I'm going to say this is an association. So if we look at number 9, it says a controlled experiment showed a positive association between the number of cigarettes smoked and the probability of developing lung cancer. So I think this is kind of a given. Like, we all know that the more you smoke, the higher chance you have at developing lung cancer. So I would think that, yes, smoking cigarettes does cause lung cancer. Plus, it said it's a controlled experiment. So if it's a controlled experiment, it usually does have a causation as opposed to an association. So this one, number 8, will be causation. Okay, 9 and 10, we are just simply finding the domain and range of each graph. Remember, domain would be your x values, range would be your y values. You can remember that, you guys, because domain and range, that's in alphabetical order, right? D comes before R in the alphabet. Just like X and Y, X becomes before Y in the alphabet. So it just kind of makes sense if you think it that way. So my domain, I just need to look at my X values. So from each point, I'm going to go down and see what the X values would be for each one of those points. So it looks like for my domain, that we have the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if we want to do our range, we're going to go just the opposite direction towards the y-axis, which are my y values. So this would be 5, this would be 9, this would be 13, and this one would be 17. So again, let me write that down. So we had 5, 9, 13, and 17. Okay, so let's do it again over here. Again, my domain, I'm going to put a big X here. I should have done that on this one also, just to remind us. And a big Y for my range. So my domain, let's look at what values we have. So if I start here at this point, that would be 0. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then my range, again, will go the other direction. If I start here, that is going to be at 0. This one is between 20 and 40, so I'm going to say 30. This one is at 60. This is between 80 and 100, so I'm going to say 90. 120, and between 140 and 160 is 150, and then 180. So let me write those. We had 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, and 180. All right, good job.